Welcome, everyone, to the Multichain Nation podcast. I'm excited to bring to you today Amit from Kelp DAO. He's a co founder and really building an amazing product. So, Amit, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks a lot, Rudy, for having me on the show. Uh, excited about the conversation.
Yeah, me too. We have a lot to get into, and I want to know right away. Tell me about Kelp DAO. What are you doing? What's it about?
Yeah, for sure. So Kelp is a liquidity staking protocol built on Ethereum and EigenLayer. Essentially, the way Kelp works in simple words is when users deposit their Ethereum or LSTs or liquid staking tokens like Lido, ST, etc. with Kelp. Kelp smart contract deposits it on EigenLayer and earns EigenLayer rewards on top of the staking rewards. So that's how, in a simple, in just a simple sentences, users deposit their ETH with Kelp smart contracts. Kelp deposits it on EigenLayer, and in return for that, users get a receipt token called RSETH that represents their portion of the underlying Ethereum that they deposited on the smart contract. And they can use this RSETH across DeFi protocols. Today, they can use it across like 40 or 50 different opportunities on mainnet and L2s.
So, I'm guessing it's not so intuitive to contribute to EigenLayer just yet. And this is why we need Kelp.
So there are three advantages of depositing this with Kelp. One, uh, when users actually directly deposit with EigenLayer, they lose liquidity.
Gotcha.
So if they have to sort of unbond the token, it will take about 7 to 10 days. So with Kelp, because they get this receipt token, they have liquidity because we have LP pools on chain.
Hmm.
That's one advantage. The second advantage is now users don't have to worry about which operators on EigenLayer to delegate their stake with because we select the best possible operators.
Nice.
That's a second advantage. And the third advantage is using the receipt token that Kelp gives, they can further amplify their yields by participating in DeFi protocols.
Nice. That's a huge like free up of liquidity for users. It's pretty important and pretty amazing because I know how fast crypto moves, and every day you don't have liquidity is like a bummer, especially if something's
Yep.
happening and you just want to just be part of it. So it's nice how you are able to give that to your users. And then for Axelar, how is Kelp DAO integrated with Axelar?
Amazing. So, just an additional product that Kelp launched is called Kelp Gain. And think of this as like an on-chain automated airdrop farming vault.
Okay.
When users, what this does is like users can come and stake or deposit their Ethereum or LSTs with this Kelp Gain vault. It does the work underneath. It stakes it with Kelp. That means it gets eigenlayer rewards and then bridges it to multiple L2s. So it also gets L2 rewards. So think
Wow.
of this as like a concoction of airdrops
Yeah.
and rewards, eigenlayer rewards and L2 rewards. Today we work with Linea, Scroll, and Karak and a couple of other new L2s on these airdrop farming opportunities. Uh, and when users deposit their ETH in this Kelp Gain vault, they get a new token called AG ETH. Simply put, it's called airdrop gain ETH.
Nice. So this is all through just a single deposit it's happening?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
It's like a single deposit contract.
Wow. And then all these rewards are what the user gets to accumulate and
Yes,
use
yes.
freely.
Yeah, absolutely. And users can actually take this AG ETH, they can bridge it to, say, a Linea or Scroll to further amplify their rewards.
And do they have to do that themselves, or does Kelp DAO handle that themselves?
No, so the bridging AG ETH to L2s is done via Axelar. Axelar
Mm,
is our bridging partner. for moving this AG across multiple L2s.
That's amazing. It's such a yeah, like freedom is sounds like the word for what a user can do on Kelp. Because once they deposit into Kelp, is there any holding period, or is it they can remove it and withdraw it anytime
So
they want
because
to?
Eigenlayer has this withdrawal period, so it is typically 7 to 8 days.
Okay, so it still uses the eigenlayer withdrawal period, but since you have that receipt token, you're able to
Yes,
use that. Okay.
people will be able to swap out from that receipt token to native ETH very soon
Wow.
using an AMM pool.
And what is the current status of your project?
We have over $650 million in assets that are deposited with us by over, I think 300,000 was the ever transacted user base with us. Active users probably is about 50,000 or so,
Wow.
maybe slightly more. And yeah, so that's where we are. And on top of that, we work with about 80 plus DeFi partners, including Dexes, lending markets, you name it. Yeah, so those are the main characteristics of our project so far.
Nice. And when you implemented Axelar, how was that experience like at that time? You and your co-founder were just thinking about, all right, we're building this. We want to get into L2. How do we do it? What do we do?
I think the experience with Axelar was pretty good, where the deploying the smart contracts, especially the bridging contracts with Axelar, was pretty straightforward and simple. We also went a step ahead and enabled native deposits from these L2s onto the AG ETH vault.
Got you.
That was another interesting thing that we did with Axelar.
And was it I guess for a developer, was it easy? Was it something difficult for you? I mean, there's so much going on in crypto, so many different smart contracts, and everyone's at a different stage of expressing how to build on their protocol. So I want to know how your experience as a developer too.
I think it was pretty smooth.
That's rare to say. I mean, as a developer, things don't go smooth usually, but it's amazing that it was a smooth
But
experience.
I think I'm not a techie myself, but my co-founder is a techie. He did most of the heavy lifting on the smart contracts. But what I hear from him is like it's a pretty smooth experience with Axelar in terms
Nice.
of deploying the contracts. Because like I think it's permissionless and the
Hmm.
documentation and the developer experience is amazing with Axelar is what I hear.
Yeah, and that's what I keep hearing too. Is it's that reoccurring, simple, smooth, and the team is also extremely helpful in terms of helping you get users and really pushing your project along and helping you get into that next milestone.
Yep.
Now you're at this stage. You're live. You have liquidity. You have volume. You have users. But I'm sure it's not where you want to stop. There's probably something more for Kelp. Tell us what's next for your project.
So there are a lot of things. We are coming up with like another Kelp game vault, which is mostly going to be based on additional, like basically mostly going to be based on real yields rather than airdrops. And the strategy is going to be deploying Kelp's ETH across multiple high yield generating strategies. That's the most important immediate priority that we are focusing on. We are also expanding to building like restaking protocol by ourselves, and we are working with one of the largest L1s, and building this protocol on them. So we'll make the announcement pretty soon.
One of the largest L1s. Is that Bitcoin or is that Ethereum? What is that? I mean, that's all I can think of. Those are the largest L1s that I know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean it's one of the top five for sure.
okay. Hmm. Solana? I don't know. I'm here just guessing, giving some excitement and feeding the public. Uh, cool, cool. And for your next steps, how are you and Axelar working together on these? Do you kind of share with Axelar what you're building, what you're working on to help kind of create a collaborative announcement?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be working with Axelar across like multiple other worlds and using Axelar as like a key bridging partner for our newer worlds, where we will also have synthetic tokens that can be bridged across different L2s by users.
Nice, nice. And now I'm kind of also curious about the Kelp origin story. You know, how did that come about?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things uh, that we realized when restaking was becoming quite popular
Hmm.
was that this part of the ecosystem, which is restaking, was going to be extremely popular and it is going to suck up a lot of capital, right?
For sure.
On the other hand, we have these DeFi protocols that have existing Ethereum and other assets. And we were fairly certain that like these staking protocols, given the airdrop and the high yield opportunity and the nascency of this ecosystem, are going to compete with the DeFi protocols for the same amount of liquidity. So that's when we realized that they both of them have to work in sync with each other. Hence, we built this solution called liquid restaking. That's when the idea of like Kelp and creating a liquidity layer on top of restaked assets came to our mind.
Wow. And I mean, it's amazing how that there are many projects solving for that middleman where you're trying to combine two different things to either provide more liquidity on something that's illiquid temporarily or something that's just not communicating properly with other protocols. So in Axelar's case, they're making everything being able to permissionless cross communication interoperability. That's their motto, and then you're able to build what you need and what you want using Axelar's protocol. And it's just an amazing thing to watch and see and come to life. So appreciate you building what needs to be built for the stability and wellness of the crypto ecosystem.
Thank you very much, and it's a great opportunity for us to also be an important part of the crypto ecosystem and also the restaking ecosystem.
Hmm. And for your community members and people who are just first learning about Kelp, you know, how can they get into it? What can they do? What can the crypto community do with and for Kelp?
I think one of the things that you could do is like for all the latest updates about Kelp, our new products and partnerships that we are constantly adding every day about our existing products, please follow us on Twitter. We have our Twitter page, Kelp DAO, and then we also have. You could also go to our website, which is called kelpdao.xyz, and please check out all of our Kelp products. Right now, we have two major products. One is just simple RSE, which is the LRT, and the second one is like a smart airdrop farming wallet called Kelp Gain. Both the products are very interesting. Do check them out, try them out, and then if you are feeling adventurous, please feel free to take the AG that comes out of the airdrop gain vault and bridge it to either Arbitrum or Linea or Scroll using Axelar Bridge.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much. I mean, there's so much going on. It's a lot of work that you've done, and I'm sure you're super excited and thrilled of what's come because it's not easy building and not easy getting that many users and volume within your protocol, and being able to partner and work with protocols like Axelar to help sustain that. It just seems like a really good win-win-win for everybody.
Absolutely, Rudy.
Thank you. Well, thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate what you're building, and I'm excited for Kelp DAO.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot to you for having me on the show, and thanks to everybody who's tuned in and is or going to listen to this show in the future.
For sure. See y'all.
Thank you.